So today is my birthday, and to celebrate, I am making a video of my favorite game that has ever happened. And a lot of you might be saying, well, wait a second, why are you showing highlights from a Broncos-Ravens game? I thought you were a Tampa Bay fan. Wouldn't your favorite game be a Tampa Bay game? And the reality is not really. I mean, the Bucs haven't won a Super Bowl or a playoff game in general since 2002 when I was 7 years old. So I didn't really have too much positive experiences being a Buccaneers fan. I could probably list my top 100 least favorite games, and they would all be Bucs games, but that's a story for another day. And I will certainly never forget this game. I mean, a little backstory about me. One of the main reasons I wanted to start this YouTube channel was because I kind of felt like I would watch a lot of football. I'd watch a lot of sports. I didn't have too many friends that also watched sports. I had some friends, but they weren't really big sports fans. So I kind of just would watch it by myself and never really have anyone to talk to about it. And this play was kind of the perfect example because I was just watching this game by myself the whole time. And there's just so much craziness that happened. And so let's just jump into it and get into the breakdown and talk about what happened. So in this situation, there's 3 minutes and 41 seconds left. Baltimore is down by 7 right here, and it's a third down. So, they need to get some yards here. They need to pick up this first down. Luckily, they have a concept that can beat this type of coverage very well. The coverage is cover 2 man, and they have a receiver running a route where he's going to fake as though he's running to the middle of the field and then get to the outside. So this is the play that can work out pretty well. But what you're going to notice is that after the ball is snapped, there's pressure. And so Flacco is going to have to move, and while he's going to have to move, there still isn't separation right now. So he can't just throw the ball right now. He has to move around. And that's what Flacco is going to do. He's going to scramble outside the pocket. He makes a throw, and his receiver just drops the ball. Now, it's certainly hard to blame Jacoby Jones too much after what he's going to do later on. But, definitely a frustrating drop. And what's crazy is what's going to happen on this very next play. It's a fourth down situation, same coverage, cover 2 man, and that's the route that Flacco wants to hit. It's going to get just past the first down marker. It makes sense. This is the play that can work and can get you to first down and continue to drive. And what happens is that the offensive line kind of holds. Flacco makes a very good throw, but again, another drop. I'll show the other angle, but it's really just crazy, how demoralizing this must be. I mean, you have 2 successful plays that should have worked, and just your receivers aren't able to hold on. I mean, that one was a little bit tougher, but still, I mean, in the biggest moment in this playoff game, they weren't able to come through. So then Baltimore was actually able to get a first down, but they weren't able to get a second one, so they had to punt the ball back to Baltimore. But, this game is looking in pretty rough shape. Fun fact, Denver at this point, they did not have Peyton Manning pass the ball once. They literally ran 5 straight running plays, so little interesting there, although they did have a good running game. But anyways, we're going to now go to this play. So it's first down. You have not a ton of time left at this point, and also not a ton of other things going for you. You have no timeouts at this point, so that's not very good. Only 1 minute and 9 seconds left. And so for Baltimore, they're kind of just trying to gain some yards here. It seems like a lot of the mindset might be, let's just try to set up a Hail Mary. First, there's this situation where it's going to be a cover 2 man, and there's a receiver running a route where he sort of fakes as though he's going to go to the outside, then go over the middle, and this makes some sense. I mean, you're defending the sidelines. You think Baltimore will probably try to work towards the sideline. You go over the middle. You can maybe gain, 15, 20 yards right here, then hurry up and get another play off. And, potentially you have the opportunity to get the ball past midfield already and get in Hail Mary range. And after this ball is snapped, the play's working out pretty well. I mean, you notice a Baltimore player is sort of cutting over the middle, and this is going to work. I mean, if he makes the catch, he could easily run potentially all the way up to the 45-yard line, would be huge. However, he just slips while moving, which causes the throw to go wild. And again, Flacco does everything right, and just kind of a weird error has put Baltimore in a rough spot. Denver says, okay, you know what? We're not doing that again. We're going to go to prevent at this point. We're going to say, forget all that. We're going to prevent. Only a 3-man rush. They have 3 players deep. They're going to have 5 over the middle of the field, which is actually pretty good. It looks like Baltimore, with Baltimore's route concept here, these are a couple of routes that can work in man coverage and can get you out of bounds as well. Flacco is going to look at the top of the screen, but when he looks up there, it's not really open. Good play by Denver. So he's going to just scramble, and he picks up about 7 yards, which again, could be talked about as maybe a good thing, but it probably wasn't. I mean, it's kind of a bad situation, actually, because now they have to hurry up to get back to the line to snap another play. And, they have no timeouts left. They need to get at least to around the 50 so they can try a Hail Mary. So things are not looking great here. But Baltimore is going to dial up the perfect play. And this is very interesting. So what they're going to do is it's going to be, again, it's prevent defense with Denver, but they're doing one thing slightly different. They're now going to have one player sort of be a spy. He's going to get a lot closer to the middle of the field to make sure that he takes away a potential run. They don't want Joe Flacco running here, but again, it's still also going to be a three-man rush. And for Baltimore, they're going to have 4 players run deep, but one of them, the one second closest to the top of the screen, is going to kind of move towards the middle of the field. And this is actually going to end up being very significant. This isn't just a go route where there was a horrible misplay which results in a touchdown like you might think. So basically watch what happens right when the ball is snapped. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the Denver player who was in charge of covering the middle of the field deep is moving a little bit further in. So the Baltimore player who cut a little bit further to the middle of the field, he was open. So that player said, okay, well, I can't just let you, get that middle of the field chunk play, get to midfield where you can then throw up a Hail Mary. That's not what we want to have happen. So I'm going to run over there and take that away. So that's his mindset here. But the interesting thing is that because of this, there's 2 other Baltimore players kind of in the area. And again, I mean, just doing simple math, 4 Ravens run deep. There's only 3 Broncos who are deep. So this is a good thing for Baltimore. Now, there's a bit of an exception. I mean, the idea is that you have to throw it so far, there's plenty of room for a safety to move over and try to make a play. But since it looks like the Denver player who's closest to the bottom of the screen is sort of staying there, and now the Denver player who is closest to the top of the screen, he's someone you definitely remember his name if you remember this play, Raheem Moore. Look at Raheem Moore, and look at how his hips are turned, but they're not turned to the top of the screen. They're turned to the middle of the field. This is because he sees that there is actually a bigger opening in that direction. He sees that potentially Flacco could throw over the middle and they could, get a ton of yards, probably get to like the 40-yard line or so, and be able to, hey, maybe you can get a few shots towards the end zone, not just one. Maybe you can move closer and try something that way. And Flacco sees all of this, and you can't tell me otherwise. I'm going to just let myself be convinced in my head. Flacco totally noticed all of this, and this wasn't just him randomly choosing one guy to throw it up to. And he's going to step up in the pocket and deliver really just a perfect ball that goes just over the outstretched arm of Moore. I mean, that was actually a lot closer than you might realize when you go back and look at it. I mean, just think about it. When you watched it on TV, it made no sense that he was kind of backpedaling like that. But the reason for it was because his hips were already turned the wrong way because because of the play design, really. It was actually a fantastic play design in this situation, which resulted in a tie game. They maybe could have gone for 2 there. They actually probably should have gone for 2 there. They decided not to, and they played for overtime. And I think we all kind of remember what happened. It goes to double overtime. Peyton Manning throws an interception and the Ravens win. But there was actually one crucial play that happened in overtime. It was in the first overtime period that doesn't get talked about too much. And it was on this play. So we're about 8 minutes into overtime right here. And this is going to be a 3rd down. So it's 3rd down, and look where Baltimore is lined up. They're at their own 3-yard line. This is the play. It's going to be cover 2-man, and they're basically just sending 4 players, 4 receivers, just run deep. Flacco's going to try to hit you right when you get past the first down marker. We're not getting creative here. We're not going to have time, and Flacco's going to have to get the ball off quickly because, we can't afford a safety. A safety is ball game. That's going to be the player that Flacco wants to hit right here, which makes some sense. But again, keep in mind the importance of getting this first down. If they do not get this first down on this play, then they're going to have to punt from inside their own end zone. There's a very real chance that Denver is going to start to drive, potentially already in field goal range with a good return, and they should at least get the ball already in Baltimore territory. And after the ball is snapped, there's not much separation on the route that Flacco is looking at. I mean, there's a little, but not really. Actually, there's no separation. The one advantage is that the Baltimore defender, he has to keep his head turned the other way. His head's turned around. So for Flacco, if he can throw this ball through the window, he's going to have a completion. The problem is that it's a very small window. It's basically a 1-foot window where he has to get it over the defender, but still in a position where his own player can catch it. But that's going to be exactly what he does. Just a perfect throw, and he even got it there quick enough that the safety wasn't able to come over and, make a play on it, which allows them to get the first down. They didn't score on that drive, but it sort of kept the game alive and eventually led to them winning in double overtime. So yeah, I mean, it was just an absolute fun experience for me. So definitely a game that I will always remember. I mean, we thought that Ray Lewis was going to have to just walk off the field, never get another opportunity for a second ring. He ends up winning it. Also, Ed Reed gets his first ring this season, because a lot of people forget he wasn't on the 2000 team, so that was awesome also. And it's also really interesting when you go back and look at it and realize, I mean, it was a misplay, but you can kind of see why it was a misplay and how Baltimore actually kind of baited them into that misplay. It wasn't just a random safety being terrible. And that's kind of why I say you can make an argument this was as big of a deal. This was the best comeback ever, because it's basically the Minnesota Miracle, but on top of it, they had to then go ahead and win in overtime. So there was like two things they had to do. They had to come back, and then they had to, they had to win in overtime, which is what makes it such a crazy comeback, I think. And, there's the 28-3. So it kind of comes into like what do you consider a comeback? Is it just one miracle play that results in it? Is that the best comeback? Or is it like, an entire quarter of great play, like the 28-3? But you can make the argument, and it definitely has a special place in my heart. And, one of the reasons why, like, people sometimes ask, like, why do you make such an effort to get your videos out so quickly after the game happens? And my kind of thought has always been, I remember there's been so many instances where I just watched a game and I wanted to hear other people's takes on it. And part of the reason for it is because of a game like this, where, I watched this game and I was, desperately wanting to hear what other people had to say. But once the post-game show ended, I was pretty much done, and I pretty much just had to sort of be by myself with the thoughts in my head about the game. Whereas, now with the internet, I can sort of talk to you guys, and you guys can listen to what I have to say. And there's sort of more of a communication thing, even if, someone out there doesn't necessarily have a lot of friends who watch football. They can watch me, and, I don't have a ton of friends who watch football, but now I can talk to you guys. So it's kind of, that's what's kind of cool about this channel, I think. And then there's also the people that just will, be randomly racist and make fun of my voice and just be terrible. So those people I'm not a big fan of. But, the people that tend to like to have a discussion here, I think it's really cool. So, again, thanks for watching. I really do mean it. And, as always, let me know in the comments below, what's your take on this game? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.